Now, Ben Wienburg, no stranger to success on the Star City Games Open Series circuit. I think that I first met Ben in the mid 2000s as a grinder. I want to say from the Ohio area. He might, though, be
Yeah,
from the Michigan area.
I believe he is from the Ohio area, right around Cincinnati maybe or somewhere thereabouts. He certainly shows up at all of those opens. Kind of slowed down recently, not attending as many, but for a while was one of the top grinders along with Jerry Thompson. So old timers here.
And
Old timers from 3 years ago.
Tidebinder Mage in play with the Bident of Thassa and an empty board on the other side of the table. This is a very dangerous situation for Jonathon Cheng. Not only is his life total low, but every single hit from a creature represents another card for Ben Weinberg. You almost don't want to let anything hit you at all, and he does take Hero's Downfall to get rid of it, passes the turn back. You can see that Jonathon only has 5 lands, and there's 6 lands on the other side of the table. Even though Ben Weinberg's deck is the aggressive deck in this matchup, mana still matters. Both of these players have mana-hungry decks ultimately.
I'm surprised at how low Jonathan's life total is, because we see in the graveyard there, is that just two Tidebinder mages? What is that third card?
Well, that's 2 Tidebinder Mages in the graveyard, but there are 2 Mutavaults in play as well.
Yeah, good point. The Mutavaults probably have been attacking as well. And now, Ben drawing out the Hero's Downfall means that the Mutavaults may be free to attack some more. Jonathan using up his instant rather than a sorcery, like a Supreme Verdict to deal with that. Oh, oh,
Ouch. That is pretty big. Elspeth hits the table, gets some buddies. That's 3 soldiers. Now, one of the things that the mono blue devotion decks did in Dublin and in preparation for Dublin, they definitely had a problem with the Esper matchup. And so one of the choices that was made for most of those decks is to somewhat change into a deck that can be very controlling, having access to Aetherlings and Jaces and a lot of counter magic. This deck has access to 2 Jace Architect of Thought after sideboard and 2 Jace Memory Adept, in addition to the 4 Gainsays and Dissolve. So a lot of counter magic, but no Aetherlings. So he's going to have to fight either fairly with his creatures or fight with planeswalkers. But it's really there we see Thassa.
yeah. So
Thassa's a start.
the 3 soldier tokens from the Elspeth forcing Ben to hold his Mutavaults at bay, and instead he just commits a Thassa God of the Sea to the board along with a Bident, so current devotion to blue is 3. Now he can activate Mutavault and make it unblockable. I am a little bit surprised maybe that he didn't do that turn. Jonathan with Thought Seize gonna take a look at Ben's hand, and it's a gainsay, and it gets discarded. So Ben Weinberg now hellbent, no cards in hand, and a Detention Sphere on
Oh
Thassa.
wow. I mean, Jonathon Cheng's life is rapidly diminishing. He's down to 5, but without that Thassa there,
And without the unblockability,
yeah.
these tokens now again can stand in the way of the Mutavaults. Jonathan maybe even thinking about attacking here, not into 2 active Mutavaults. That's not gonna work.
No, he's going for it.
He goes for
Maybe he's got an Azorius charm that he's going to use on a potential blocker.
That's a
Or maybe
possibility.
he's just going to. Like we see. Yep, he loses the 2
Just
creatures. He's just fine to get in the 1 damage.
wants to do
Apparently,
1 damage. Wow.
that's pretty aggressive.
That
Very aggressive.
all right, Chekhov. I think that's the reference you're making.
No, close though.
Oh, okay.
Close. I was.
Whoa.
And now, if you're wondering what's happening here, we have a little bit of darkness because the venue's lights have been turned down. That's not our lights. The venue is turning off the lights on the
Yeah.
ceiling.
Somebody turn the lights back on, please. Meanwhile, I can make out that as a judge's familiar. I'm familiar with that card as a
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
judge.
whoa, whoa. Very funny, Ricky.
And Ben Weinberg attacks with 3 Mutavaults. Jonathan blocks each of them.
One,
with a
two,
soldier.
three down
And
the line.
that's why I didn't like the attack last turn by Jonathon. He lost 2 soldiers to deal 1 point of damage, when if he had 6 soldier tokens here, Ben would not have been able to attack, because he would have just traded 6 soldiers for 3 Mutavaults. So I don't know why Jonathon is so eager to maybe get out of here. Maybe he's hungry, wants to go get dinner.
Divination. That looks. He's got a lot of foils going on. A lot of.
That's good. That
Yeah.
helps us see them in this condition.
Nice. Good point. Two
All right.
cards for Jonathon Cheng. I like how Divination has become a go-to card for Standard. It's
Yeah.
been given such a hard time for so long. I've personally been liking Divination for the last year.
When it was first printed as Council of the Soratami and Champions of Kamigawa, you would have never thought to play this card in Constructed. There were so many better things you can do, but now it's a solid card in a Esper control deck like this, or a blue-white control deck, as we've seen from
Yeah.
Max Teats.
I've even seen people playing it in the mono blue devotion deck in the slot where some people were playing Omen Speaker. And we see 3 more soldiers. Elspeth now is a 7.
Yeah, this time you're going to want to leave those soldiers at home. Those 3 Mutavaults threatening, you can maybe trade with 2 of them, or...
Detention Sphere on the Judge's Familiar.
Alright.
And pass it back here to Ben Wienburg.
He wishes he could Detention Sphere the Mutavaults.
There are very few cards for a Esper deck to directly interact with the land of Mutavault. He can interact with it as a creature.
Yeah, Hero's Downfall is one of them, but we saw Jonathon forced to use that earlier on a Tidebender Mage just as we join the action here.
Look how costly. You brought this up. That 1 damage that he did to Ben Wienburg. Ben Wienburg not at 20s, at 19, but at the cost of 2 soldiers.
But the Elspeth now with 7 loyalties, threatening to go ultimate next turn. So Ben's going to want to attack again, so at least if Jonathon makes the choice to go ultimate, he won't have any soldiers to pump up. The emblem is +2/+2 and flying for all creatures. No!
Ben Wienburg says go. I wonder, Ben Wienburg's deck does have Cyclonic Rift. Look at that mana he's got out there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So what could happen here is if Jonathon tries to go for the emblem and then attack with the soldiers, Ben Wienburg may overload Cyclonic Rift, returning all the soldiers to his hand, and then Jonathon will have an empty board.
Even if Jonathon Cheng just goes this more safe play of dropping down more soldiers, he can still, at the end of turn, fall prey to a Cyclonic Rift should Ben Wienburg have it in hand.
Yeah, Cyclonic Rift can still just return the tokens and the Elspeth at this point.
And the Detention Spheres.
Oh. What is under the first Detention Sphere? The most recent one was on Judge's Familiar.
Thassa and Judge's Familiar.
Okay. Yeah.
And what is that? Gainsay and Doomblade.
And a Pithing Needle. This is off of Jace Architect of Thought's -2 ability.
Wow, he says Pithing Needle or no. And Jonathon Cheng says or no. That means that now, even if Ben Wienburg has a Cyclonic Rift in his hand, Jonathon Cheng now has a Gainsay. So that's not going to work. We see the Bident. This is in main phase 1. Ben Wienburg says, guess what? All of your creatures have to attack. Now, 3 of them do not have to attack because they are summoning sick.
Is it possible that we missed Ben activating the Bident on that turn when Jonathon made that attack with the 3
possible.
soldiers?
You know, I don't remember. It's possible that Bident was activated.
Yeah, I don't think it was, but it's very possible. And now the lights are coming on in an awkward hue. This is... I feel like... it's a little psychedelic, man.
And we see a little bit of Mutavault action. They're getting in there, block, eat those soldiers.
Welcome to the StarCityGames.com Open Series featuring the Invitational Dudes.
This is the one and only Ricky Hayashi.
I actually like the way that the logo is popping out now and almost glowing.
Now, if you're just joining us, I'm Adrian Sullivan. This is the quarterfinals of the Standard Open. Ricky Hayashi is talking about the way that the screen looks, partly because we just had the lights out here, and we're getting the colors corrected. We can see Detention Sphere, taking out a Judge's Familiar and a Thassa, and then also 5 soldiers, a Jace, and an Elspeth in play. Ben Wienburg, all he has right now is a Bident and 3 Mutavaults. Gainsay stops a Jace of Ben's own, and Ben now, he's got to figure out what to do with this game. It's starting to creep away from him.
I don't know if there's anything he can do. There's 5 soldier tokens, and Elspeth capable of ultimating and keeping a loyalty to keep making soldier tokens. The color returning to the feature match table, color returning to my face. I was actually holding my breath that whole time. I'm afraid of the dark. And the Mutavolt's attacking here. Are they attacking Jonathon's life total or possibly going after a Planeswalker?
Well, either way, Jonathon Cheng, um, he has possible defenses here. Remember, with an emblem, +2/+2 and flying to all creatures, Ben Wienburg wouldn't die to the strike back, but he would be pretty darn close.
Mm-hmm.
So we see finally a Mutavault
Trade.
die. 3 dead soldiers, 1 dead Mutavault. Pass the turn.
2 soldiers left. He's going to untap with those. He can either make 3 more soldiers or finally ultimate and get an emblem. We see he drew Jonathon Cheng, draws another Gainsay. All the protection in the world. He's got several other cards in his hand. No, he's going to attack for 2 and then make 3 more soldiers. Playing it safe here. We'll see what he does with his Jace. Architect of Thought. Probably a +1.
Passes it back.
So Ben started to untap there. It's possible Jonathon said go and then quickly said go Jace +1.
And look at that
Or
hand. He's got another detention sphere in hand. I think I saw a Gainsay as well. Jonathon Cheng looks like he's gotten to the point of having a far away.
Yeah.
I mean, if he goes for it here, that will kill Ben Wienburg. He can, and there he goes.
Emblem. Give that man an emblem. Give that man a big pat on the back. He's about to move on to the semifinals.
And that is it. Ben Wienburg defeated by Jonathon Cheng. Jonathon Cheng's Esper control deck is the 7th seed. You can see Ben Wienburg not happy with that result. It's never fun losing, but he was so close to victory there.
He was close. We joined the action. I think Jonathon was in single digits, maybe 7 life, down to 5.